right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's been a while. You already know who it is. Targeted individual CJBK. And yes, it has been a long time since I've recorded a video like this. And trust me, it's not on purpose. There's something going on third. But FDNY. But anyway, so I don't know what's going on, but yeah, hopefully everybody's doing all right. I've been going through it. More importantly, it's a lot of stimulation, wireless stimulation, remote wireless stimulation from the gang stalkers and in their quote-unquote secret society. Then I never said what name that they have. They just call themselves secret society. Well, they say, oh, the secret society don't want you to do this in the secret society. So it's like, I don't know, gang stalkers, secret society, whatever. Yeah, they've been doing the most to me because I don't know. I guess I've just been overcoming quite a bit, or maybe I don't know if I could use the word overcome, but let me see what is happening. But yeah. So I guess I could just start with what I have been doing that possibly led to me making less videos. So I've been learning over time that they really can control what you can we go? Alright. I got the bus trying to come behind me and whatnot. Anyway, it's like every time I try to start recording, I don't even know where I want to start because there's always so much that happened since the last recording or yesterday. Drive. Fucking drive, Jersey. Anyway. Yes, you get road rage on a bike real quick. Anyway, so yeah, it's a lot of psyops. Me really coming to a good understanding and learning of how they use the wireless nanosensor network to control just about every aspect of a person. Let me flip the camera real quick. The light. All right. So, one thing people need to understand about the wireless nanosensor network is this shit is dispersed everywhere. Like this entire planet is basically it's like imagine if air was like water, right? Well, the air that we breathe, the air is literally like filled with these nanosensors. I mean, let me see. If you can't really see too much of the sprays right now, but some of these clouds, it might have been clouds from the rain from yesterday, but I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that we are seeing in this sky is nanosensors, right? Nanosensors that in a cloud dust-shaped form, and then once it disperses, because of all the electromagnetic waves being transmitted down to the earth, and it moves these sensors across all around, and like it spreads it out. It spreads it out. Actually, I almost got hit. It spreads it out, and it comes to the ground, right? Once this stuff is spread out and comes to the ground, it's on everything and it's in everything. Okay, so now let me tell you what I've been learning about the nanosensors themselves. Okay, they are made of metal. They are made of some biocompatible materials, and they have capacitors. They have capacitors, actuators, antennas, and it's just like the thing that people need to understand is nano, N-A-N-O. It's like it's not the smallest thing, but it's nano. It's like people don't understand when we're talking about nanotechnology. We're talking about technology that's so small you really can't even see it. You could barely see it with a microscope. And these shits have the ability. You saw how that dude almost caused that accident? Anyway, and it's like alright. And it's like these things, they literally can put themselves together inside the body. It's like once there's a few trillion or a few million of these nanosensors, they form something called a cluster, right? Now the cluster is once all of those nanoparticles come together, they form antennas. They build a capacitor inside the body, and the next thing you know, it can hold and store energy. And it could also take it also becomes a receiver as well, because it has to be able to receive radio frequencies in order to be able to take command, right? So right now the V2K is like, he a bitch ass nigga. That nigga know he can't do nothing to help nobody, because don't nobody know how to do nothing against secret society. This bitch ass nigga. You have no idea. And I'm telling you, V2K is some shit. Like I've come to the realization that I could deal with gang stuff. I can't take the V2K. I mean, I'm taking it anyway, but it's like of everything, the V2K is probably the worst, because it's like, maybe it's because I'm an empath, maybe it's because I am highly sensitive, and then on top of that is, not only am I just emotionally sensitive, I've learned that I am like electrically sensitive. Like there is such a thing called electrosensitivity, and I realize I am highly electrosensitive. But I believe a great deal of that comes from being, remote neural stimulated for, over 5 years now, and at least, I'm trying to remember when they first start hitting me with energy. I think it had to be maybe after that first week of experiencing V2K, and then I tried to go to the hospital to see if I could get help, and then realized the hospitals was a part of it, because they gang stalkers too. Not everybody, but a good deal of people in the health industry are gang stalkers. What else? Oh, right. As you can see, for those of you who may or may not know, I'm in Harlem today. But anyway, what was I trying to say? 116. Do I want to go to 7-Eleven? No, I'll wait for the next route. Um, okay, so back to the nano sensors and clusters and whatnot. So once these sensors form the cluster, right? One thing you gotta know is that in order for them to like get the most efficient amount of energy from the body, these clusters have to be formed in places within the body that are known to generate the most energy. And energy is everything from heat, friction, or created from everything. Heat, friction. Why is he on the sidewalk? You gotta stop over here? Never mind. I don't know. Whatever. But anyway, yeah, so I'm like, yeah, so these sensor clusters, they have to, I'm like, she's so cute. Anyway, whatchamacallit? Damn. Right. So okay, sensor cluster. Because it's like as I'm speaking, I could feel the pressure building up in my memory cortex. So that means they're trying to interfere with my thought processing. But this happens every time I try to record, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why I've been slowing down on recording, because maybe I've been trying to figure out what can I do to I don't know why he pointed in my direction. But then again, I don't know, whatever. I'm trying to mind my business anyway. But anyway, so, you know, sensor cluster. It's like I have to keep reminding myself what I was talking about. Because, okay, right, clusters and where they're positioned in the body. So these clusters, right, they have to position themselves in areas of the body where they can gather the most energy from the body, in case you happen to not be near some type of external source of energy. Now, an external source of energy can literally come from any electronic device that's near your body. But aside from just electronic devices, radio frequencies and ultrasound carry energy, right? So it won't matter if you turned off the electricity in your whole home unless you ground your home properly. That's one thing I've been learning too, is besides the electronic devices that could be near your body, or you go in your home and you try to turn off all the electricity in your home, satellites. Radio frequencies are transmitted from satellites all the time. And they're transmitted from satellites all the time. Matter of fact, 24 hours a day. I mean, hence, how else do you think they power this torture system 24 hours a day? So these radio frequencies and ultrasound waves being transmitted from satellites, cell towers. Now, here's the other thing though. Anything that's conductive or metal or reflective, it can bounce those waves from that object, or rather, I think metal objects can become radiated, and then once they become radiated, hold on. Okay, I'm back now. All right. So nanoclusters, or clusters of nanosensors, and their positions in the body. Once they build themselves up within the body, right? I told you there are specific areas of the body where the sensors try to harness. What's up? There are specific parts in the body that the sensors harvest energy from. So we're talking about, for example, joints of the body, your finger joints, hip joints, knee joints, elbows, the joints of your shoulder, like the socket where your shoulder and your arm meets. All these different places where you generate tension or friction within the joint, that's energy, right? And these nanosensors harvest energy from those areas and they power themselves. This is one of the reasons why you could go in the woods somewhere, or you could be on a boat, and you could be on a boat in the middle of the ocean with no like radar or nothing, and you could still feel them hit you because the sensors themselves are powered by your own body, right? Now, okay, this is me just trying to explain what I've learned about the structure and how energy is converted and used. So it's like, for example, like right now, for like the last 8 days or so, they've been concentrating a shit ton of energy on my lower back, but it seems specifically between the lumbar and the sacrum, right? Sacrum very important because the sacrum, you know, the part of your spine that got the 6 holes and is basically like the one of the most concentrated areas of where all the nerves and stuff in your body are, because, well, the sacrum is basically where everything meets, right? Where everything meets and spreads out to the rest of the body. You know, besides coming from the brain, the sacrum, it connects to everything, right? So they've been focusing a lot of energy on tissue and nerves in my lower back. So with that being said, oh, right, I'm jumping ahead. So something else I learned, matter of fact, no, I'm gonna just finish with that thought. So what they're doing is, let's say, okay, it's like a cloud server app, right? It's like a cloud server application with identical real, like everything that you see is basically on, is like a mirror, or like a I don't know, it's an identical, but it's just online, right? And everything is basically captured by sensors and, you know, sensors and different types of radars and everything that's taking a copy of just about everything and everyone, right? Wow, that looks interesting. I thought that was a person for a second. But bear with me. Ooh, that's nasty. Hold on, I'm trying to keep my train of thought. It's like every time I try to start talking, you see, okay, you're looking from a reverse. So above the right side, here, I can take this. Stop real quick. Hold on. All right. So every time I try to start talking and then remember everything that I'm trying to say, right? Right here, there is what is it called? There is a nerve that comes through here. I think it's called what is it called? There's a nerve that comes up here and then it branches out. I forgot the name of that nerve. But once they send radio frequencies to this area, because there's probably sensors in that area, they basically can gain access to several different functions within my mind, my body. Hold on, it's like, I'm trying to trying to keep my train of thought. It's like I'm trying to keep my train of thought, but I keep feeling all this pressure build up right above my eye. And it's like it's right here. It's like it's right here. And I could feel, it feels like a cord. Right. So it's like as I'm talking, I can feel pressure build right here. And and it's cold out here, right? It's probably like 60 degrees or so, right? So it's like as I move my hand like this, I can feel the warmth of what feels like an energy cord going right here. I could do this and I could feel it against my hand. Now that I believe, oh no, I lost my bag. Damn. Nothing was in it, but I don't like to have my phone. Dang, I lost my bag. I don't like to have my phone in my pocket because it's like much closer to the body. So it goes from far field coupling to near field, the closer the phone is to the body. But anyway, damn. Right, so all that pressure I'm feeling, right? There is most likely a cluster of sensors near that nerve branch. Now, the sensors, what they do is they basically are an antenna, receiver, stimulator, or actuator, all these different things, right? Now, what they're doing is as I'm speaking, the sensors, they're collecting all the data of everything that I'm thinking and saying. But remember, the body is electrical, right? So everything that they're recording is basically electrical activity. The sensors collect this electrical activity and then convert it into basically radio frequency, right? Once they convert it to radio frequency, they then transmit that data to somewhere else. More likely it could either be, what in the world? More likely it could either be my phone, or it could be someone else's phone, or it could be a cell tower, or it could be a satellite, or it could actually be someone else's body, right? Now this is something that I've been learning, is because every single person is basically their own Bluetooth device. Every single person's body has a Bluetooth signal and some type of identifier. And I think you might actually be able to see these identifiers when you do a BLE scan from your phone. I'll say that one of the things that you can notice is when you're using the BLE scanner is most devices are named, right? Most devices are named, or you see the name of a company that manufactured that device, right? What I've learned is there's a crazy number of Bluetooth devices that will be picked up in the BLE scanner, and they don't have no manufacturing information, no name. It's just numbers and letters, but there's no words. It's just numbers and letters. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So there's times when I tried to actually pair with it, but it wouldn't allow me to pair. And then one time I actually got myself to, I found one that was relatively close to me, right? Because they always say the BLE, I think if you're trying to see which device is closest to you, it starts with an R. I think it's, what is it, RSI or something like that, or RSM. I forgot what it's called. But if But if that number is higher, I believe, then that's the device that's closest to you. So, I paired to one time, and when I paired to it, it kind of did let me in for a second. It let me in for a second, and it wasn't like a speaker or a TV or anything like that. It was something else. So it let me pair to it. Where's the front? This is the back of the building. The front must be on the other side. But anyway, it let me pair to it, right? And then when I tried to get some specifics about what did I just pair to, it kicked me off. I do have some screenshots of it too. But anyway, so right, these radio frequencies, they get transmitted from the body to somewhere else. Now, before this data is even sent, it's all collected in, like, all the data and information from your body is collected and sent to something called a control hub, or I think it's called a communication hub, something like that. Oh, this is not where I'm supposed to be. Hold on. Okay, so right. So once these clusters have positioned themselves in, these areas of the body where they can harvest the most energy, doesn't matter where you are, they're powered by your body. But for extra energy, right, it takes an external source, right? So that's when electronic devices and cell towers and just about anything that could actually be anything that has its own electromagnetic field can be used as a weapon or used as a source, power source, to help power the sensors, right? Now, there's a lot of research already out there about how these sensors are built, their purposes, their applications, but you're just not going to see as many. You're not going to find much information on how they're used as a weapon, though. You're not going to find much of that, and that's what we would love to find. But I mean, you most likely would have to be someone in the military or someone in intelligence to gain access to that type of information. But we can learn all of the medical and all of the medical applications. We can learn all that stuff they make public, and then maybe some gaming applications. We could probably find information about that. But how they weaponize the nanosensor network, now we're not going to really find that information. But you can learn about the network. You can learn about it. Only problem is you're going to have to use a little bit of not imagination, but you're going to have to, like, what's the words I'm looking for? Wait, I should just go. Yep, I'm gone. All right. So, what else? Keep trying to maintain my train of thought. It's like, as I'm blowing out like that, right? It's like, I don't know if it's, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I know it's not carbon. I'm not sure what it is that's coming out of my mouth, but I know it's not coming from my lung. It's like, as they're stimulating up here, of course they're heating tissues, right? So as they're heating the tissue, I'm trying to guess what's happening. So I'm like, okay, if they're heating the tissue, then that means water must be being, evaporated or something. Water is being heated. And as they're heating the tissue in this area, I think the water is kind of like evaporating and creating the gas, and then it's like coming. It's coming. It's like it's coming down, and then I could feel it. Like I could feel it here, and I could feel some of it along here, and then right here, and then like it's coming out of my skull. Like it's not coming from here, it's coming from here. And it's like as I'm oh wait, I think it's supposed to be somewhere over here. Hold on. Alright, so I had to stop and do some deliveries, and that damn 94th between 2nd and 3rd that's one hell of a hill over there. Anyway, let me see. Ultrasound and radio frequencies power the sensors, which then basically it's like they take the code that's been received via ultrasound or radio frequencies, and then so like let's say if they want to I hate when I be going past people and then I overhear certain things. It's like I'm trying not to like think it was about me. And that's the whole problem with this whole thing, is because there's no real marker, at least for the normal person. There's no marker or anything that identifies who's like no visible marker, at least who's a part of the W-band cloud servers and who's not. There's no way of telling. But then it's just like, I don't know, it's like you have an idea that there's a lot of people watching you, and at least through the perpetrators of the V2K, they tell me that there's a lot of people watching me, and then they also tell me that there's people watching a movie about my life. And it's like, I've watched several films that basically flaunted this technology and how they are basically extracting memories and dreams, and then they can put it on a screen just because they've mapped out the brain, and they have the right type of equipment and software that can take that electrical activity and those signals that's in the brain, and then create a picture of whatever it is that that was injected into your mind. And it's like, I've been learning over time to teach myself not to fear what I'm exposed to, because everything that you're exposed to, you are to learn from it. Everything that you are exposed to, you are to learn from it. That's like one of the whole points of life in itself. Is if you're not learning and experiencing new things, then you're not really living, So I'm trying to stay on track. There's a lot of energy coming from my phone right now. Okay, so now, so let's say like I was telling you, that they were overstimulating my I guess the nerve on the right side of my forehead, which basically can connect to other parts of the brain that deal with communication, memory recall, concentration, emotions, a lot of things. A lot of things go on in this area of the brain, and then this area of the brain, and then the back of the head. But so okay, I'm trying to Trying to stay on track. Trying to stay on track. Dang. It's like every time I try to start talking, it's like I just have all this pressure in my forehead. Like, it's just mad pressure right here. And then when I move my hand like this, I could feel the pressure of an ultrasound wave hitting against my palm. Now, the thing I've learned about ultrasound waves is once the ultrasound wave once the particular frequency is set for this ultrasound wave, there's nothing stopping it from getting to where it has to go. Because ultrasound can penetrate, depending on the amplitude or some other things. It could literally penetrate through just about everything. Like ultrasound can penetrate through anything, right? And then if it's a type of material that it can't penetrate, then there's enough of this sensor, these nanobots and shit that's everywhere, that it can go around whatever that object is just to get to where it's trying to resonate. So like, you know, a lot of us, we talk about shielding and stuff like that. So like, let's say, many of us have been talking about you buying certain materials that we could, you know, put on our bodies and whatnot. Well, the thing about some of these materials is it doesn't. Well, one, you gotta research and see what the material has been tested against. Like, what frequencies has it already been tested with for? Because you could really end up just wasting your money buying some material that won't attenuate nothing. And attenuate, that's a word I definitely want to make sure I get into. Okay, so attenuation, right? To my best memory recallability, attenuation is basically what happens when energy or data is lost when let me see, I think it's 19, no, it's not that one. Hold on. All right, so I got a nice window right now. I'm on break. So okay, yeah, so I've been like really trying to learn as much as I can about the structure of nanotech and sensors, and the infrastructure and how they transmit the data and everything. But now, like I was saying, the material, that's what I was talking about. Now the materials, right? You have to actually see, before you purchase anything, you need to know if it has been tested against gigahertz. Especially it has to be able to test against like 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. It has to be able to attenuate any frequencies that's like higher than 2 gigahertz, but also any frequencies that's lower, like in the extremely low frequency range. So like that's like the extremely low frequency. I think anything under 200 hertz or 100 hertz, I forgot. But yeah, so that's a wide spectrum. That's a wide spectrum of frequencies that you want to make sure that the material you're about to purchase can actually attenuate the power or energy that's going to be carried by that wave. What else? Now, what I'm doing now, I don't know when I'll be able to show you. So what I did, I'm testing something out. So a copper wire, right? Everybody knows that copper is a conductor, right? Copper conducts electricity, or it. I don't know why he kept driving fast when he see the truck clearly trying to go into the. I don't know. Some bikers be doing the most. Now they let me go. But anyway, yeah, I don't be getting it because it'd be like I'll see the car. You see how that taxi just made a left turn, right? I would literally watch them. I'm watching the biker. I'm watching them from behind. They would try to cut in front of the turning taxi instead of going around the back. I never understand why they do that shit. And they do that shit all the time. They always try to cut in front of the turning car. I never understand that. I figure maybe it's a culture thing because, I don't know, maybe in some, how in some countries they drive on a, no, that's driving on the right because that's still no, we drive on the right. So it's like some countries they drive on the left. So I'm thinking maybe it's just, because it don't even be like they turning left. Like, it don't even be like they're trying to go left. They'll cut in front of the left turning car just to still go straight. I never understand it. But anyway, trying not to get distracted. But sometimes these are good distractions because I got V2K. V2K does not stop. It's 24 hours, does not stop. So I got these 4 people talking all day, every day. And I'm pretty sold. I'm pretty sold on the idea that they basically are using their digital twins, basically like as a what's known as an AI agent, right? So they basically have a copy of themselves. It's like, imagine an asshole being able to multiply themselves 4 times or some shit, and then take those 4 profiles and then link it to your body's let's just call it your body's electrical signal or signature signal or something like that, right? And then because the tech is powered by you, they can keep the shit flowing. They could keep talking consistently. And then because the data that's being fed to the sensors are most likely coming from satellites somewhere, or you got cell towers somewhere. And then on top of that, I've learned about, these little portable Wi-Fi devices that they can put into walls and whatnot. Hell, it even got me remembering when I moved into my first apartment. I didn't even know that there was a modem. I didn't even know that there was a modem and a Wi-Fi router in a closet inside of the apartment. Like, I didn't even know that was there, right? And then I'm thinking to myself, but I've always been around, like not always, but I've been around Wi-Fi and everything before 2020. So it's just interesting that after receiving the V2K, all of a sudden, that's when I became highly, highly sensitive to radio frequencies and things of that such. But let me see. All right, so trying to get back on track. Materials. Right. So yeah, you got to make sure that your materials can test against gigahertz and extremely low frequencies, right? Right, the copper wire. So what I've started doing, now you put your turn signal on. I hate when people put their turn signals on last minute or last second. It's like, I'd like to know that you turn in before you get into your turn. But anyway, so what I've been doing is testing out some things with copper wire. I even asked the chatbot about how how can copper wire or copper mesh mesh? I mean, if you know what a mesh is basically like a screen. Think of like your window screen, but instead of it just being like your window screen, it's like kind of similar, but it could be made from different materials. Now, copper being it can be a being that it's a conductor of electricity or energy in general. I started testing this thing out where I have 12 gauge copper wire, right? And when I purchased it, it wasn't bare, so I stripped it of its protective coating, right? You know, the stuff that's on the outside of the wire. I stripped it of that, and then when I stripped it of that, I noticed something interesting. When I put it against my skin, I felt something change, but it was like a good change. Like it felt like something like okay, so in order for them to have real-time monitoring, they need to have you linked 24 hours, right? So that means there are ultrasound waves and radio frequencies coursing over and through your body for 24 hours, right? Think about it as if like when you're in the shower, right, and you see the water. It don't have to be a shower. You could just be underwater, right? Not underwater, but like water running down on you, right? Now, think about how as the water's running down your skin, right, you see like there's that layer of water and then your skin, right? Now, if you were to put your hand or your hand in that same stream of water that's coming down your body, what happens? It splits, or it kind of goes around your hand. Well, the thing I learned about what copper does, when you put copper in front of an ultrasound wave or radio frequency, that copper absorbs the energy absorbs the energy that wave is carrying, right? So I put the wire on my skin. Like I tried different things. I tried wrapping it around my toes, and I noticed that the change in tone of a frequency that I was hearing in my head. Then I also noticed there was this moment of relief. But then also when when I was what am I trying to say? Dang, it's like every time I try to get a good roll going, all of a sudden I feel that pressure build back up in my head. But right, so if you put a copper wire or copper mesh in front of an ultrasound or a radio frequency, whatever energy that wave was carrying is going to get lost. It's going to get like basically picked up by the conductiveness or the conductivity of that copper wire or copper mesh. So with that being said, I'm learning that there is definitely a way we could probably ground some of the energy from these attacks that's coming to our body, because it's like once they already know the frequencies of our entire body, so it's like they already have the body mapped out and everything. My theory that I've been testing out, I have a neodymium magnet, right? And I took that 12 gauge copper wire, stripped it, and the magnet has a hole. The magnet has a hole in it. So what I did was I put the wire through the hole and I wrapped it like a couple of times, and then I put it like against my hip. Well, hold on. All right, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up because I just finished work early. Well, there's no more work. There was no more work to go out, so just clocked out early today. But I mean, right now they got a lot of energy on. I guess it's probably like my sciatic nerve. or I don't know, cause it's like just it's like just above like my left glute, right? It's like just above the left glute. It's not necessarily the back, but it's strange because okay, so something else I learned too when I know the last thing I was talking about was when you put your hand on your body and you're under like running water, the water the water basically moves around the hand. So what I learned was that when I put a piece of copper wire, 12 gauge or thicker, like it gotta be like a thick copper wire, by putting that wire against the skin, if there are ultrasound waves or radio frequencies, like let's say, hold on, if I were to move this over, so because right now I'm wearing a copper wire, with a magnet kind of. Let me see if I can show you real quick. So what I got is this. This is just a little test thing that I'm doing. So I got this magnet wrapped with an exposed copper wire, and I have it pressed up against like my pelvis. I also learned too, and I was like, just looking at my belt reminded me too. If you have a metal belt buckle, just know that metal belt buckle can be radiated, and then once it's radiated, they can then they can basically transfer energy from wherever it's being transmitted from into your belt buckle, and then from your belt buckle, that energy is going straight into your body through your skin, or probably your belly button, or the nerves around the belly button. They couple it. It's called coupling. Right now they're going after my left hip. It's like it feels like someone took a screwdriver and set it on a stove till it got hot, and they're like just pushing it into my hip, right? Now the thing is, as I have my left hand on my hip, I could feel the spot. It's a spot. I could feel the spot where it's where they're attacking at. Because I can feel the spot where they're attacking at, and it's significantly warmer than the rest of my thigh. Significantly warmer. And that's one thing I learned about whenever TIs are being targeted, or anyone being targeted with this technology. It's like regardless of sorry, I lost my train of thought. I feel the pressure build up in my head again. Michael just called me a pussy ass nigga. Hold on. Okay. Still trying to remember what the hell I was talking about. But it's all right here. Yeah, it's like all right here. All the pressure I'm feeling in my head as I'm trying to focus and concentrate on what I'm talking about, I feel all this pressure right here. Turning my palm up, I could feel the pressure of waves hitting against my palm. Yeah. So right in between like my middle finger and my ring finger, there is a wave right there. They just sent a strong ass pulse just now, and it kind of rocked my head a little bit. It made my head feel like I just got like it felt like my brain just got hit by something. What else?
Attention everyone. Your safety matters to us.
What am I trying to do? Dang, it's like every time I try to get started, I can't remember what I was talking about. And it's pulsing so hard right now. Somebody got a taser? I was like, there's a guy walking around with a taser somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to focus. So it's like what I did was I pinched, right? So what I noticed is because it's ultrasound, right? Ultrasound radio frequencies. What I noticed is so they're attacking here, right? And I can actually feel it. I think it's, you got some of the energy coming from my phone. This bottom corner of the phone. And then, okay. That's where the majority of it's coming from. Okay, so like I said, these sensor clusters are all throughout the body, right? Well, what I've learned, at least when it comes to my body, there are some very, very specific parts that they have, I guess, like a large concentration of the sensors. Big toe. And what I learned about the big toe, my right big toe more specifically, the big toe and of course the top of the head are like the two, like I think, how did it describe it? It was something, I forgot how it was written, because I remember reading somewhere that the big toe is very significant in what's called the wireless nanosensor network, because it's like the farthest, the big toe is basically like the farthest part of the body, right? So whenever I move my hands over my toe, I can feel, yeah, like right there, I could feel a pressurized wave coming from my toe. Not just the toes, but also my right knee. Feel it all along here. Like this is the patella's here, but I could feel the ultrasound penetrating along here. This is like the joint of the knee, and then it's coming from under the patella. So it's all like focused and concentrated in the joint of the knee. Then aside from the toe, the knee, for whatever reason, they significantly like to pulse energy into the left hip more than they do the right hip. I don't know why, but anytime they're attacking my hips, they usually always go for the left hip. Now, sorry. Then, what else? Okay. Perennial, is it called perennial nerve? Perineal nerve? No. There's a nerve. There's like a major nerve that runs along like it runs along the like your sex organ area. I think it's called the perineal nerve. But anyway, so that nerve, there's I think that's the nerve that they probably try to gather information or gather like, you know, I guess information about your body when it comes to arousal and things of that sort, because I can feel like, so like here, right in between my thumb, like the base of my thumb and my palm, I could feel a wave. Yeah, I could feel an ultrasound wave basically coming from the groin area. But I know exactly where it's at. It's not necessarily coming from like my penis or the testicle, but it's like there might be actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, somewhere along the right side of the scrotum, I felt ultrasound waves coming out of too. Yeah. So it's like, but it's not like it's coming from the scrotum. It's actually traveling from deeper. Like, so, I can't really even fucking describe it. Okay, let's try this. All right. Let's say this is a testicle, right? And then this is the scrotum. Then you got, you know, like your anus would be like over here, right? So what I'm learning, there are nerves that kind of like pass. There are some nerves through here, and I think it's called the perineal nerve, right? If there are sensors along here, they can gain information from the nerve, and just about most of the information that they're going to get from a nerve that's here is probably going to be dealing with everything from arousal or libido, you know, anything dealing with like sex or reproduction. They're going to get their information from that perineal, I think it's called the perineal nerve. They're going to get their information from that nerve. Now also, if they want to mess with you, or let's say you're a highly sexual person, right? If you're a highly sexual person, more than likely that nerve is like hyperactive. That nerve is like pumping with information, right? So as that nerve is constantly pumping with information, the sensors, the nanosensors that's near that nerve, they basically can absorb or harvest energy from that nerve and then create a phased array from like the scrotum, because this is exactly what it feels like. It feels like they create like a phased array somewhere. I'm not sure if it's here or if it's in the scrotum, but they create like a phased array, and then now there's like an ultrasound wave like shooting straight up from the scrotum right into this part of the head. Now, something I've been learning is that no matter where all the data is coming from within the body, I've learned all of that data before it goes anywhere else and before any command is received or processed in your body, it starts right here. That prefrontal cortex, usually on the right side, on the right hemisphere of the brain, prefrontal cortex. I got more information for y'all, but I'm getting on the train. Hold on. All right, so now I'm back uptown, back in the Bronx. My home for now. Okay, so the wireless nano sensor network, right? All right. Now, if you want to really understand what this network probably looks like, imagine your whole body, right? Really visualize this, right? And I posted some pictures of illustrations of what nanosensor clusters would look like. I got them from research papers, but it shows what the cluster sensors look like when when they're inside. When they're inside, did y'all catch that? How somebody say, "Ain't no chip in me," and I'm like, oh, brother, that shit's in everybody. But I was like, I'm not even gonna get into their conversation. But so, it's crazy because he said it. He said it so convicting, like not convictingly, but he said it with such conviction. He was like, "Ain't no chip in me," and I'm like, "All right, bro, I can tell you some things." It's like I can tell you some things, but anyway. So imagine you're like see your entire body, right? Now, clusters of nanosensors. Now, one nanosensor, it just looks like a little speck. If you look under like a nanoscope or even a microscope, because I think when they are activated, they light up, and you could probably see them pretty decently with a microscope, but you won't be able to see the real full details of the nanosensor itself. Like, you won't be able to see the smallest of the intricate little parts that make the sensor itself. But so you see your body, right? Now, what some may know and some probably should know is that your entire body has what's called an aura or a biofield and or an electromagnetic field, right? This field around your body is radiating light outwards, right? It's all around the body. It's around, like, think of it as like trying to figure out how to describe it. It's like you have this light that's coming from almost like every pore, every skin cell, every whatever from your body. And it's all around. Like it's all around. Like, there's not one part of your body that there isn't light coming from or energy radiating from your body, right? Now, with what the nanosensors do, because they can cluster, which means they form a larger structure. Once they form a larger structure, they can do something called create a phased array. Basically, it's when multiple, I guess, it's like when multiple waves of energy are shooting out all like in like different like patterns or whatever, right? And then as they're shooting out in these patterns, there's a focal point wave. There's like a concentrated wave that can be steered within that array of waves. So that concentrated wave, that's the one where the resonance and everything happens at. So it's like when you think of these clusters, and they're positioned in several different parts of the body, primarily joints like elbows, shoulders. I noticed the one not necessarily over the heart or near the heart, but it's kind of like to the side. I've noticed this one here. I've learned about that one. Then there's sensors in your hips. There's sensors in the groin area. Well, not necessarily the groin area, but the sex organ area, because of the it's because of the nerve bundles, the presence of so many nerves in that region, right? Then you got what else? Right, so you got all these different clusters, right? And they're all phasing arrays. They're all phasing. They all basically, it's like your aura has a whole nother energy pumping out within it. It's so weird to try to explain because it's like, that's why I keep telling TIs, start reading. Like I know some of this stuff can seem difficult to try to understand, but look, get one of these studies. Find some of these studies. All you gotta do is just type in wireless body area network or wireless nanosensor network and start reading some of these studies. And you know what you could do? Get a dictionary and have the dictionary right next to you as you read some of these studies. Hold on. All right. So I am home right now, and been home for a while. It's yeah, for most of it, like I think shortly after I clocked out from work, or pretty much when I started, like shortly after I decided I was almost finished with making this video, they've been pulsing energy into my left hip. When I touch it with my left hand, it's like it's not a very deep penetrating pulse. It feels like it's still close to the surface of my skin. But it's a pulsing sensation that's like right at the hip joint. Like it's like right at the hip joint. And it's a timed pulse. Yeah, and it's about I think it's running in like about 1 second intervals, how frequently the pulse is. But it literally feels like every second something is pulling on a tissue or something like that. But aside from that, so yeah, like I was saying, yeah, just get a dictionary, and just you can still learn. And what I've been learning about the remote neural stimulation is how they manipulate memory and how you learn while still being remote neural monitored. What I've been realizing is that you still are learning things. You still can learn. You still can receive information. You can still retain things into your memory. Now, the thing that actually affects us the most is not that we lost our memory, is that we're being basically prohibited, or we're being denied. We're being like, it's like an active denial system. So it's like let's say a train of thought is basically from that end to that end, right? When you're talking, you're maintaining this streamline of thought and focus, right? When you're perfectly in the zone, and you're in a full-blown conversation, this line is strong, it's solid. Now, what they do when it comes to the remote neural stimulation or modulation, what they do is, as you're talking, right, it's like, imagine someone just go bloop, bloop, and it's like bloop. It's like someone dropping a rock or a pebble in that stream, and then it just it breaks up and loses connection. So it's like, it's not that you don't have the information in your mind. They're basically just intercepting the pathway it takes for information to go from storage to recalled and used. Because I learned that we actually retain a lot more information than we could ever realize. Our not just our brain, but just our tissues and cells themselves retain information. The only problem is the nervous system is like the mechanism that transfers that information from one place to another. What they're doing with this technology is basically so like that zeros like that the beginning is let's say that's one neuron, right? Or what is yeah, let's say that's one neuron head or one head of a neuron, and then the other end is another head of a neuron. And as information is basically sent from one end to another, they basically put something in between. That's the sensor clusters, right? The cluster sensors. They put those in between the neuron heads or the synapses. They put it in between, they position themselves in between the synapses. So then once information is then transmitted or pulsed or, once the electrical activity is triggered and is supposed to be sent from here to here, whatever the man in the middle, the cluster sensors, it basically intercepts or it kind of filters, like it catches that information before it gets to the other end. And depending on if they just want to prevent you from receiving that information, they'll just block. Or if they just want to record and monitor, they could just sit there and intercept all that information coming from your storage area, your memory storage area, before it actually gets here. Or at least that's the best way I'm thinking about it. But let me see. I got some things that I'm working on. But it's just really hard because I mean, we got some TIs here in New York that are doing some things, but for the most part, we're all kind of even though we're like in the same city, we're still kind of like separate. Like we're still trying to figure things out on our own and whatnot. Some TIs are trying to focus more on legal things. Some TIs are trying to focus more on technological stuff. Some TIs just actually want to try to ignore the tech stuff and the like the gaslighting and stuff like that, and just focus on focus on something else. Me personally, I found it almost impossible to ignore. Yeah, especially if you have V2K, because if you have V2K, I don't know how you ignoring hearing these people all day long. But aside from that, what else? I'm not gonna spend too much time on here. So right, this active denial system, right? So they're intercepting the electrical activity between our neurons. Now, solutions, right? Right now I don't have any permanent solution, but I have been learning certain little things that I do that actually help at least provide relief. One thing I've learned is, I think I've maybe said this many times before, but our hands are a lot more useful than we think they are. And I'm talking about as far as from a energetic, like an energetic standpoint, right? Our hands basically emit electromagnetic radiation, or not electromagnetic radiation. Yes, they do. But what I've also learned is when you actually tense your hand, you force your hand to actually produce more energy, right? When you make a fist, that tension from your fist is actually generating energy in your hand, right? What I learned, um, there's this technique called the scissors technique, right? So, with some, I'm not sure if I said this earlier or not, but with some people, who study, esoteric knowledge and learning how to cleanse, the spirit and breaking bonds that's been made between your body, your flesh, or your spirit. They say you have to find the cords that are connected to your body, and you have to cut them, right? So at first, I know it sounded a little woo woo to me when I first heard it, and then I tried it because I said, you know what, I could try it because I've already been able to like literally just move my hand between me and another person or a device, and I could actually feel like a wave, like a pressurized wave coming from that object or that person coming directly towards me. And just a reminder, every single person, every single like living thing has these nanosensors all in their body. And anybody that tell you that they ain't got no nanosensors in them, they just don't know yet. Everyone who tells you that they don't have no chips in them, they don't got no nanosensors in them, they just don't know yet. Because trust and believe, when people find out what exactly is inside their body and who actually has control of it, they are going to flip. But the worst part is they're not going to know exactly who they want to go after because it's so many people. It's so many people because you got to remember each person's body is basically like its own network or its own like real estate. Like the entire body is basically a real estate. The entire body can basically be shopped off like each, it's like tissue and cells in the body are basically used as like storage places for data, or if you wanted to share a message, like if you're among their society, whatever, and you want to share a message to someone in secret or whatever, you can send that message through another person's body, use them as a carrier, and then when that person gets closer or whatever, that information is then released from that person's body to get to whoever the person it was meant for. Let me see what else. Michael just said he trying to be successful, and now they're like, Chris, you don't realize people actually listening to you. And I'm like, well, they should. All they got to do is look up the wireless body area network or the wireless nanosensor network. And if they really want to know if this shit is inside of them, all they got to do is take some cranberry juice or some wine, swish it around in their mouth, spit it onto a dish, and then pour some alcohol on that bitch and watch what happens. The reason why that's one of the most effective ways to see if you have nanotech or parasites in your saliva or in your body is because alcohol, especially 99% isopropyl alcohol, is known to actually dissolve or kill many bacteria, viruses, parasites, or destroy biodegradable materials such as polymer. Or I think it's called. Is it polymer? I think it's called polymer, but it might be called something else. But nanotech is coated in order for it to bypass the immune system and go detect it and not end up getting clumped together and pushed out the body. It's coated with a polymer substance, or like some type of polymer coating, right? And that helps it slips through and go unnoticed. So then when you apply alcohol to anything that's like polymer based or biodegradable materials, it will degrade like within time. It'll degrade. As it degrades, it begins to expose the internal hardware parts of the nanosensors. Once that get exposed, once those parts get exposed, now you can do other things that could actually disrupt the functions of the sensors. So this is where things like EDTA or chelating agents come in hand. So that's just to see if you have stuff inside your body. When you get to the point where you have accepted that you do have nanosensors inside your body and you want them out, I think one of the first things that people could do is learn how valuable that alkalining the body truly is. Because when you alkaline your body, one, you turn your entire body into an environment that is basically unfit for most bacteria, viruses, and parasites. That's one. Two, polymer substances actually dissolve in high pH environments. So if you raise the alkalinity of your body, you could possibly degrade some of this technology and maybe interfere with the data transfers from your body to whatever transmitter or receiver that's nearby. The third thing I'm also thinking too is using an electromagnetic pulse to actually short circuit or deactivate or short circuit, destroy, or turn off the sensors. And then the electromagnetic pulse, I've seen different devices built to be able to get this going, get that going. Like I've showed you my video where I've made the little zapper, where I took a bug zapper and just I like deconstructed it, took the net off, took the racket part off, and then replaced that with 12 gauge copper wire. So then whenever I press on the button, it whenever I press on the button, it sends a pulse of electricity through the copper wire. And then what I would do is I would put that wand against my body, especially areas where they're concentrating their attacks on. I would put the wand on that area and then I would zap it on there. And then usually within like less than a minute, I'm usually within like the first 15-20 seconds, I'm already feeling relief after zapping away at it. Now, of course, the V2K, they're always telling me everything that I do that's probably helpful, right? They're always going to tell me something like, oh, you have no idea how much damage you're doing to your own body. Your nervous system is overloaded. What else? Oh, the street's not gonna let you try to figure it out no more, or oh, you messing up the military. The military don't want you to figure it out, and it's so many things and people that's all involved, and they don't want people to realize that they being simulated and remotely monitored. They don't want people to know how to find out who's hacking their body. They don't want people to do nothing. They just want you to just be used. They just want you to be used, and they want you to, at any point, give up your children, because that's what all this is coming down to. At the very end of it, it's all going to be about taking people's children, because let's be real, we understand that in most esoteric things, a lot of those rituals involve children. So you gotta think about these things when you look around and you see how many like traps there are set up to split families apart. Then once the family gets split apart, now all of a sudden the system got some people that want to come over and take your kids away from you. And you know what happens when they take the kids? They take the kids and try to go and send the kids to go and live with somebody else. But lo and behold, the people that them kids probably go end up staying with end up being gang stalkers or some shit. Now they doing ritual abuse stuff on the kids. And the kids wish they could have stayed with their parents, but they parents getting gang stalked, and they don't even, and they parents just trying to figure out how to survive the shit themselves. But anyway, yeah, so like alkaline in the body, electromagnetic pulsing, yeah, the zapper. Then I gotta start collecting my my material so I can create the bucket too. I've been wanting to make that bucket by Tony Pantalleresco for years now. I want to make that bucket. But then I also seen that anti-nano triangle. That looks a little bit more that looked a little bit more technical. But I gotta watch that video again. That video is like 2 hours long, I think. But anyway, what else? Yeah, it's quite a few things. But oh wait, let me show you some things. Now, one of my, yeah, excuse the mess. We are trying to get up out of here because, okay, after 3 times of having our ceiling basically damaged by upstairs neighbors and I don't know, it's you know, it's whatever. At this point, we're just trying to get out of here. Okay, so between this and this, so these two are some new gadgets that So these two are some new gadgets that I got from a TI friend of mine here in New York. He actually met Jesse Beltran and did the thermal scans and the frequency scans. And Jesse was using these devices, right? So this device here is exactly what it is. It's a radio frequency tracer, right? Basically, you turn this on and you can increase the sensor sensitivity. And what it does, let me see. What it does is once you increase the sensitivity, it'll literally show you, based on how strong the signal is, where a radio frequency is coming from. Wow, interesting, right? Now, to make things even more interesting, remember I told you about the prefrontal cortex? Interesting, right? Now, remember I told you my left hip? And this my groin area. See? And that's all. That's most likely coming from my right scrotum, the right side of my scrotum, like I told you earlier. Yep. And then that's the back of the head. Memory. That's the memory cortex over here. Auditory cortex. Auditory cortex. Back of the head, you got the visual cortex. So, yeah. Radio frequencies leaving the body. Right? So that's that device. Now this one. So this one here actually shows you the measurement. This one actually shows you the measurement of the frequency. So and it's like I hear the V2K and they're like, he trying to be successful. Now, as I'm lowering it down, I could feel it interfering with. There's a wave coming. There is a wave coming from this direction, and I could feel the warmth. Like the air feels cool, but the moment my hand passes through a wave, you feel the warmth of the wave, because the wave is carrying energy, and energy can be, like it could be a temperature difference compared to the environment. Now, I haven't really looked up all of these frequencies yet. I wonder if I could flip it somehow. Maybe I could flip it another way. But yeah. So working on this. Yeah. All right. But yeah, I'm working on some things. But yeah. Oh, for now, I guess that's it. I was just happy I actually finally was able to get a video of, because I haven't made a video in so long. and I know they're definitely behind me not making videos because it's like it's a denial system, right? So it's like I willingly be wanting to make videos, but then it's like I don't know, for whatever reason, you know how I normally make videos when I'm at work. So for whatever reason, I would be riding back from, finishing a delivery. And I had already told myself in my mind I should make a video when I finish my route. But then by the time I'm riding back, I'm not even thinking about making the video no more. And it's almost as if like the moment I planted it in my mind and said I should make a video, they said, nah, you're not gonna have that. And then it's almost as if like they block that part of my mind so it never comes back for me to record a video. And like I said, this is all wireless remote neural stimulation. But anyway, oh right, and then I got myself a new retro reflector. And really for people who don't really know what a retro reflector is, a retro reflector basically is like, don't mind the Kapton tape on the back, but a retro reflector is basically this. It's like taking three mirrors or three pieces of glass and then you put it together in this like shape, and what it does, it collects light from all angles, but it focuses it in one spot. Like no matter where the light is reflecting from, it's going to take those light waves and shine it directly back to its source. I started messing with retro reflectors because in the earlier parts of me learning about this stuff, I thought it was mostly infrared light, whether it's far infrared or near infrared or mid infrared light. I thought it was infrared. So I've been, working with different materials and trying to see if I could put, retroreflectors in corners of the room, see if that would help. And to some degree it does, but I've learned over time that there's definitely more than one technology being used at once. So it's not just infrared light, but it's also ultrasound. It's also radio frequencies. So so it's going to be multiple things that we would have to do if we really would want to defend ourselves against these attacks. I think that's it for now. I'm trying to see if I could work with some people. I came across a TI. I think she lives somewhere out in like Arizona or something like that. And she was a part of something called Tybro. They basically seemed like they were a cult. But she pretty much called it out for what it was. Anyway, she basically called it a cult, and then she said that once they showed her what they truly were, she basically became a whistleblower and was like, nah, I'm not going through doing this anymore. She realized that they weren't necessarily using real, like they weren't being completely truthful about all of their spiritual teachings and the things that they were experiencing through their quote unquote masters. She found out that they were using technology to basically front like they were spiritual masters. And I was like, yo, that's wild. Now it's funny because as I said that, all of a sudden I felt a pulse in my brain. So apparently someone did not like what I said, so they sent me a reminder that they're going to destroy the tissue of my brain over time. Um, it's crazy because I still love my family, but I know quite a bit of them knows exactly what I'm going through, and they, well, shit, I guess they sorry but not sorry that they can't help because I mean, for lack of better words, they're like, nah, you a snitch. But I'm like, you do realize this is a human rights violation, right? How you gonna talk about snitching, but we talking about people hacked everyone's nervous system. Like your nervous system is hacked. And you gonna call me a snitch? Motherfucker, how you gonna accept that someone is controlling your nervous system? How do you just accept that someone is controlling your nervous system? And then you want to be mad at the person who wants to try to find a way to defend against such a thing. You want to call that person a snitch. You want to call them a pussy. You want to call them a bitch. You want to call them everything in the world that you're not, quote unquote, right? Oh, not, I shouldn't quote that, but it's like they basically call me everything that they claim that they're not. But I keep thinking to myself, it's like, Chris, remind yourself, they're only saying that because they're on that side. You know, for the most part, they can't take what you take on a daily basis. That's why they on that side. That's why they're the voyeurs. That's why they're living vicariously through you, because they don't want to go through that. They would rather be on the side where they basically constantly get fed information, and then they can basically operate through the world like as if they're floating on top of everyone, and everyone is just like a tunable TV channel. And then not only is it a tunable TV channel, but they can also send instructions or commands to the actual characters of the TV show. I'm like, man, that's wild, man. It's wild, but it is what it is. I'm glad I'm finding all types of TIs though, because every time they told me a specific group of people is looking to do something to me, I find a TI that resembles that group of people. Like I found Asian TIs, I found Spanish speaking TIs, I found TIs from Africa, I found TIs from China, I found TIs from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Cuba. There was one TI I came across that was from Colombia. So I'm just like, there's TIs from every part of the world. And it's like, right, because it's a global coup, basically. It's a coup on human morality and ethics. So we're gonna keep working on these things, and I'm gonna keep plugging away, and whatever I find, I'm gonna make sure I share it with y'all, because I was just reminded recently that if I stop, then how's it going to help whoever could be coming behind me? So I have to keep doing whatever I'm doing, because someone is watching, and someone is probably being influenced and being motivated. Matter of fact, on Facebook, I was happy I came across this dude I haven't seen before. But I think he said he was targeted for just as long as me, since 2020. I think on Facebook he goes by Targeted Twan. I think it's like TWAUN. And he just put up this video where he's using something called an induction heater to basically create electromagnetic interference with signals that's around his body. And then he also demonstrated how it can actually jam signals by, he was playing a radio out loud. And then when he moved the radio near the induction heater, it basically jammed the radio station. It jammed the signal of the station. So, all right, yeah, that's it for now. Just wanted to finally finish this video. It was hard to try to make this video because every time I'm trying to make a video, it's like they start attacking my prefrontal cortex. They start attacking my concentration, my focus. But you know what? Fuck them. I'm done. Take life one breath, one thought, one step, one day at a time. And remember, the only way you could really find relief through this all is you can't just ignore them. Learn from them. And when you learn from them, share what you learn. Because the only thing that truly gives them the power that they have is the fact that it's not enough people knowing. And if it's not about that they don't know, it's too many people afraid of them. And I'm at the point where I'm like, yo, do you know how many people are dying every day? And it's like, yo, it's selfish as hell actually to really sit there and go, I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. But we all gonna die. Question is, what do you want to die for? Yeah, I'd rather be murdered because I was trying to find a way to end trafficking, digital trafficking, digital human trafficking, rather than I died because I got into an altercation with someone. I find that very noble, And then the fact that, if something happens to me, I'm pretty sure there's people who are watching and learning from some of the things I post. And then if word gets out that something happened to me, hey, fire starter, so. All right. Good night. And I will keep everyone posted. Peace.